It's Monday, the 28th of August, 2023. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. We better get into it. Story number 1, it was a solid but not spectacular weekend for auction sales, with the preliminary clearance rate across the capital cities holding above 70%. But Sean, there's some good news for renters, finally.
Yes, so let's start with the auction rates. The number of houses under the hammer hit a 7-month high, so things are getting busier. But after 3 weeks of creeping up, the preliminary clearance rate fell 2 percentage points to 72% over the weekend, according to CoreLogic. That's across the 5 capital cities. Melbourne's clearance rate came in just a touch under 70%. Sydney was 74.6%. Adelaide was at 88%. Brisbane, 71%. And Canberra, almost 55%. The steam has certainly come out of the market, Michael, but it's still going okay. Interesting to see what happens in the next few months as that full impact of all those rate rises from last year and earlier this year hit home, so to speak. This week we find out house price moves for August, with analysts expecting another decent rise during the month.
We mentioned good news for renters, Sean. House rents fell in 20% of suburbs nationwide, with stretched affordability pushing renters into seeking cheaper options like apartments.
Rental values for houses fell in nearly 1 out of 5 Sydney suburbs over the 3 months to July, while unit rents dropped in only 7%. Hobart and Canberra recorded the largest portion of suburbs, where house and unit rents declined at 92 and 87% respectively, sparked by falling demand and a marked increase in rental supply in the past year, according to CoreLogic and reported in the Financial Review. Now, many renters seeking houses have just simply opted out of that market. They're looking for apartments instead because they're cheaper. Across the combined capital cities, 15% of all suburbs posted a drop in quarterly rent. In the regions, it was 29%. Tim Lawless from CoreLogic, though, a little bad news. He warned that there's still a shortage of rental supply, and that could limit declines in coming months.
All right, on to story number 2 now, and earnings season wraps up this week. Sean, how's corporate Australia performed?
About 85% of companies have reported. All the big ones have come in. A few exceptions: Fortescue Metals today, Star Entertainment tomorrow, Harvey Norman later on in the week. Ahead of earnings season, expectations weren't that high, but results have probably been better than feared. Guidance around coming earnings has been at best cautious. A little more than a third of companies have done better than expected, about the same proportion worse than expected. According to Shane Oliver from AMP, key themes include that cost pressures remain a challenge, although there are some signs they're easing. Building material companies are still benefiting from strong activity, although some are warning of a slowdown. Insurers are doing better, though that's at the expense of customers. We're all paying bigger premiums, of course. So far, home borrowers are keeping up their payments, and corporate outlooks have been cautious, with more negative than positive guidance. And retailers in particular are warning of tougher conditions. It means customers are kind of going to discount stores more.
All right, on to story number 3 now. And 3 US Marines have been killed and 20 others injured, including 5 in a serious condition, after a United States military aircraft crashed off the Northern Territory coast during a training exercise.
Emergency services were called to respond to the incident involving a Boeing MB-22B Osprey aircraft on Melville Island shortly before 10 a.m. Australian personnel are not believed to be involved. About 150 US Marines are stationed in Darwin and taking part in military drills alongside personnel from Australia and the Philippines. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said the crashing of the aircraft was tragic and a regrettable incident.
Indeed. Now, story number 4, WeWork, which is the shared office space business, very high profile one, told investors over the weekend that there's substantial doubt over its ability to continue as a going concern.
It's losing cash and memberships are being cancelled, and it has brought in restructuring advisors in an effort to stay afloat. The group said demand for WeWork desks, particularly in North America, has been hit by the increasing amount of sublease space available, a slower return to office, competition from other hub operators, higher interest rates and inflation, and a lack of funding for startups. Often the startups are the guys that actually take up space in WeWork. This could well have a flow onto the local office market. WeWork rents space in 18 facilities in Australia. Companies involved include GPT Group, Lendlease and Dexus.
All right, last one, Sean. Story number 5. How about this one? France has too much wine, apparently, and it's about to destroy enough wine to fill more than 100 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Now, you're about to head there shortly, aren't you? So you would be feeling this story quite personally.
Yeah, I'm hoping to find the swimming pools they're talking about, to be honest.
Just dive in head first.
People are drinking less wine, basically, and it's getting more expensive to make. So to keep the economics of winemaking attractive, the French and European governments are paying winemakers to destroy their plonk. According to a report in the Washington Post, producers have a huge surplus, which they can't sell at profitable prices. Some of France's most famous wine-producing regions, such as Bordeaux, are struggling. In June, the European Union gave France about $172 million to destroy nearly 302 million litres of wine, and the French government announced additional funds late last week. Producers will use the funds to distill their wine into pure alcohol that'll be used for other products like cleaning supplies or perfume. Sacre bleu.
That is just an extraordinary story to finish on. There we go, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Monday, the 28th of August, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News, wherever you listen to podcasts. That also comes with interviews and things. Today's interview is with Steve Daglian from ComSec, and it is a look at the winners and losers from reporting season. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.